Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is December 10th, and right now we're looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see the state of Hawaii here. Here's Washington State. You can see our atmospheric river, which is weakening, but still bringing some moderate precipitation across some of South Washington and Oregon. And that will continue on through the day today before it starts to push off and eventually gets out of our area by the time we get in towards Monday night. But you can see our next system out here across the Pacific Ocean as well. This frontal system is going to roll in sometime on the day Wednesday. We'll take a look at those details. We'll take a look at the extended forecast as always, and I'll show you some cool El Nino stuff here in a minute, some raw data. But if we look at the Doppler radar for Portland, you can see that moderate, maybe even some heavy precipitation at times across some of the mountainous areas especially, and that continuing rainfall across the coastal areas. And really, we have a pretty increased landslide risk here across much of the area as well. We've dropped a lot of rain across the region, and this goes for western BC, western Washington, western Oregon also. Now, anyway, back to the infrared satellite imagery here. And now check out some of this raw data. This is for SeaTac Washington. And for the most part, this goes for a lot of the Pacific Northwest, but this is temperature during strong El Nino. I kind of adjusted my El Nino numbers here to make it show only the stronger years. And you can see it's kind of a limited sample size. For example, you have 5 Januaries that meet the criteria, and you can see that it's significantly warmer in January of strong El Ninos versus La Ninas. And look at February. I mean, you're over 5 degrees difference, and this is just the mean temperature. So that is a huge difference in the actual temperatures that we would be experiencing here during this time. And March is pretty extreme also, up towards 5 degrees warmer. You can see there is some difference there between December, but look at November, actually a little bit warmer in La Nina years here. So yeah, kind of interesting stuff there. But that February number is pretty striking and kind of shows you where we're probably headed as we go on in towards the new year. Very warm, but it doesn't mean that we can't be wet also. As you can see, El Nino conditions, strong El Nino conditions, actually Januaries are even wetter than the wettest month during La Nina conditions there. So maybe we'll have a wet January incoming here. Typically Decembers aren't that wet though. As you can see, 5.3 inches there, and that's lesser amounts than what we typically get in La Nina, but we're already way over that. We're approaching, we're up over 6, I think towards 7 inches now, if I'm not mistaken. I'll check the data here recently, but we have gotten well above average here already this month. And this is looking at snow. So this is 37 months have qualified for the strong El Nino, and we've only had one day during those 37 months where it actually snowed. It was in January 1998, and we had 3 inches during that day. We've had no other snow events here for Seattle during the strong El Ninos, and this is since 1979. So yeah, interesting stuff there. Day 1 excessive rainfall outlook. You can see kind of wrapping things up here across western Oregon. That'll be out of our region as we go through tomorrow, the excessive rainfall anyway. But check it out. Even the National Weather Service, Seattle, is talking about the special weather statement there. That is for landslide concerns across western Washington, and I would extend that into BC and western Oregon as well. And you can see that there. They do mention it specifically here, increased threat of landslides. So kind of interesting there. We've been talking about it for a few days. And here's that flooding potential here. This will be wrapping up. But again, we've dropped a lot of rain across western Oregon where it still continues there. And there still could be some flooding going on. Mountain snow continues about 4,000 feet Sunday afternoon and Monday. And check it out. This is kind of cool. They put the I-90 and Lookout Pass elevation, Lolo Pass, Lost Trail Pass, and Marias Pass out there. You can see the elevations. And this will be wrapping up as it moves off to the east. So we go through the next day or two. Now, taking a wider look at things here on the NAM 3KM here, this is what the Doppler radar is probably going to look like as we go through the day today. You can see that continued atmospheric river across Oregon, some of that snow across some of Idaho, southwest Montana, continues to move off to the east there, and maybe another round of snow for some of the higher terrain, especially of Idaho there as we go on into Monday morning. But then we wrap things up here, and we do get a break here for a bit. But by the time Wednesday starts rolling around, you can see the very beginning of that next system off to the left here. That is going to be our system rolling on through the day Wednesday coming up. And this is looking at a wider view of things here. Again, we're looking at Alaska. There's Washington, Oregon. We're looking at the GFS. This is last night's run. If we put this in motion, you'll see our system on Wednesday kind of slide through here. And then models have been showing this next low kind of getting cut off here off the west coast. And kind of in some disagreement on what it's going to do next. Makes sense. Those cutoff lows can be kind of tricky, but it could be bringing some precipitation into California, or it could be bringing some back up into Washington. So as we scroll on through here, you can see additional lobes kind of getting cut off here on the west coast, but maybe impacting California. But we do have the potential to continue to bring some active weather. As you see, the Gulf of Alaska remains active to go towards the end of the month also. So Yeah, we'll see where we end up here for the month of December, but so far things have been pretty wet here, and we do have the potential to be adding to that as we go through the month. Now let's take a look at the 12Z GFS here. Let me update it so we have the most recent information. This is the atmospheric river currently, and I'm pointed right at western Oregon there, wrapping things up as we go through Monday, and then we bring our next system in here. It's not an exceptionally strong front or anything, and you can kind of see it move across as we go through Thursday. Then that low drops off the coast of California. And some of the models been showing another round of precip for the Pacific Northwest next weekend here, but we'll see how that goes. The latest GFS kind of back off on that some, and you can kind of see that low spinning off the coastline there. This could bring some moisture into California. But again, this is going to change as we go. We'll watch that day by day. Here's Seattle. This would be Wednesday's system here. Maybe another 5/6 of an inch here. So that could just kind of add on to that landslide threat. We need a break of a few days here to kind of let the water tables drop down a bit. This is Snohomish County, something similar there as well. Painfield, Everett. And this is Snoqualmie Pass. Check it out. As this front approaches, it's actually going to bring some easterly winds through the Cascades there, bringing some of that lower level cool air here underneath that warmer area. This is a cross section. There's 10,000 feet, and this would be the surface at Snoqualmie Pass at about 3,000 feet. So something interesting there as that next frontal system moves in. And I'll kind of show you that here. So this is wind speed at about 100 meters on the European. And as we scroll on in through Tuesday, you can see some of the east winds coming up here. And I got to mention that too. Some gusty winds through the gorge could be occurring at this time as we go through Tuesday morning Stampede Gas Pass across the Cascades of Washington and Oregon. And then we scroll on in through Wednesday. It picks up a bit as we go through Tuesday night, actually, and then on into Wednesday morning. It continues. So that's what's going to be drawing some of that cold air through the pass of Snoqualmie Pass, which what I showed you there on that cross section. And then you can see the next frontal system off the coastline here as I scroll on in through the day Wednesday. This is looking at 6-hour precipitation, and this is the latest European. So let's see what it shows. It shows that atmospheric river sliding through that we've been dealing with, and then that next frontal system a little bit stronger on last night's European run there, kind of wrapping up as we go through the day Thursday. And then it brushes us with a little bit of precip, mainly hits western BC, Vancouver Island, maybe hangs out for a little bit there, very weak atmospheric river associated. But you can see it does agree with the GFS on that low being cut off the California coast. So we'll watch that day by day and see how this unfolds. Here's total snow 10-to-1 ratio. So kind of wrapping things up, it's bringing some more snowfall across Idaho and the Blue Mountains here. And then Wednesday's system is going to roll in here, and you can see some of that snow flying across western BC, the higher terrain, another nice shot of snow. Not too much showing up here, but maybe another few inches for the Cascades, maybe northeast Washington there as well. And this is the landslide monitoring site here. And we are primed. If we get another big rainfall event, we would definitely have landslide issues. We're probably right on the fringe for a lot of these areas. Right now, this only covers Seattle, Everett, Tacoma, and Boeing Field here. And yeah, so we're okay right now, I think. I mean, there's probably some areas that are stressed. But, you know, this just kind of sets the stage also for later on in the month when we saturate things so greatly across the region. And we may be dealing with some flooding conditions as we go into the end of the month if we get some additional heavy rainfall events. And this is one more look at things here. So we're looking at Japan to the left, and this is the GFS versus itself yesterday morning. And here's Washington State there. There's Alaska. There's the Hawaiian Islands. We're looking about 39,000 feet up in the atmosphere. I'm going to put this into motion, and there goes Wednesday's system moving through the Pacific Northwest. You can see it right here. Then we drop off that low pressure system off the coast, which you can see here. And now if we scroll off into the future, what I want to show you is the jet extension coming across. And you can kind of see what I mean when I say jet extension. You can see that jet stream all the way from Asia and the Western Pacific, all the way across Pacific Ocean, pointed at the West Coast. It's actually been trending a little bit further to the west. This portion of the jet's been trending a little bit weaker here, but as you can see, the ensemble mean has a better jet stream towards the state of California. So this is not good for snow lovers across Pacific Northwest. This is a warm southwesterly flow, but it's also got the potential for some heavy rain at times as well. You could still bring atmospheric rivers into portions of the West Coast, but right now we're way far out from getting any kind of detail with this type of setup here coming, but not good for snow lovers as we move towards the end of December. If you got anybody willing to make bets about a wet Christmas in Seattle, take them up on that bet and take the no snowfall because it does not look good, folks. This is definitely a warmer, above normal temperature regime here across the Pacific Northwest. And one more look here at landslide activity here. Again, Seattle and Tacoma Narrows right now above to the right of that threshold on the not good side. I can see all the water seeping out of some of the hillsides here across some of the bluffs on Puget Sound. But yeah, hopefully that holds for now and we don't have to deal with this upcoming later as well. But anyway, here goes Wednesday's system out there. Then hopefully we get a break. Maybe that cutoff low will mess with California for a bit here and we'll get enough time to dry out somewhat before we start to return that active Gulf of Alaska troughing at the Pacific Northwest. So anyway, hope you guys are liking these videos. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.